If you're watching this, don't scroll. This story ruined my life in less than 24 hours. My name is Ethan. 3 years ago, I was a regular guy living in Texas. I worked at a warehouse, barely making enough money to get by. My life was simple. Work, sleep, repeat. Then one Friday afternoon, everything changed. I was eating lunch in my car when I got a notification from my bank. Deposit received for $187,116.83. I thought it was a scam. I opened my banking app. The money was real. Almost $500,000 was sitting in my account. I refreshed the page again and again. The money never disappeared. My hands were shaking. I called the bank immediately. The representative checked my account and said something unbelievable. "Sir, according to our records, the funds belong to you." I couldn't believe it. For 2 days, the money stayed there. By Sunday, I started thinking, maybe it was actually mine. Maybe a relative had left me an inheritance. Maybe it was some forgotten investment. I know it sounds crazy now, but when that much money suddenly appears, your brain stops thinking clearly. On Monday, I quit my job. I paid off my truck. I paid off my credit cards. For the first time in my life, I felt free. Then Tuesday morning changed everything. At exactly 8:14 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. A man's voice said only one sentence. "Mr. Carter, return the money immediately." Then he hung up. 10 minutes later, he called again. "You spent some of it already, didn't you?" My stomach dropped. How did he know? The calls kept coming all day. Always different numbers. Always the same voice. Always the same message. Return the money. That night, someone knocked on my apartment door. 3 slow knocks. I looked through the peephole. Nobody was there. But on the floor sat a small envelope. Inside was a photograph. A picture of me taken earlier that day outside a coffee shop. Someone had been watching me. On the back of the photo were 4 words. "Last warning. Send it back." I barely slept. The next morning, I checked my bank account. The money was gone. Every dollar. My account balance was now negative $43,000. I called the bank in panic. After hours of calls, a supervisor explained the truth. The deposit had been a massive accounting error. The money belonged to an investment company. When they discovered the mistake, they took it back. But because I had already spent some of it, I now owed $43,000. I felt sick, but one question remained. Who had been calling me? Nobody knew. Not the bank, not the police. Months passed. I got another job and slowly started paying off the debt. Then, almost a year later, my phone rang again. Unknown number. The same voice. He said, "Good, you paid it back." I froze. Then I asked the question that had haunted me for a year. "Who are you?" There was silence. Then he laughed and said, "Nobody. I just wanted to see what kind of person you were." The line disconnected. Forever. Years later, I requested records from the investigation. There were bank reports. Police reports. Everything. Except one thing. There was no record of any phone calls. None. According to every phone company involved. Those calls never existed. The numbers were never assigned to anyone. But I still had the voicemail recordings. Recently, I listened to them again, and I noticed something terrifying. Behind the man's voice was another voice, a whisper. After enhancing the audio, I finally understood what it was saying. The same sentence over and over. The money was never the mistake. So tell me, the if $487,000 suddenly appeared in your bank account, what would you do?